Hello, everyone. I'm Kathleen. I'm here with Larry today, and we have the pleasure of interviewing Lenore Field. Hi, Lenore.
Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Larry.
Hi, Lenore. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Oh, great.
We've known each other for a really, really long time. And in fact, I think Lenore and I met in 1995.
That's right.
We were both cast in RLT's The Dining Room. The other female was Dee.
Yeah.
Dee, yeah.
Dee.
And so we've known each other for a really long time. Larry, when did you meet Lenore?
I think I knew about you, but then we did a show together in 2010.
That's right.
Right, and then again in 2011.
What were those shows?
6 Degrees of Separation and People Who Love Torture and.
That's right. That's right. That long title.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah, People Who Love Torture and the people that love. I don't know.
Right.
It's hard. I don't know. It was.
And you were great in both roles. You have this, for certain roles, you have this quirkiness as a character, which I just think I can't think of any other actress who does it better than you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
It's amazing.
And I was thinking before we did the interview, it's like, if you had the right opportunities, I think you would have gone all the way.
Oh, you're so sweet.
You have this acting style, which is just like, when the last play I saw you do, The Herd, I just said, oh man, I just want to watch her the whole time.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. Very, very nice.
That's amazing. Lenore,
And I love hearing that. I love it.
Oh, yeah. We'll keep it coming. When did you first get the acting bug?
When I was 3 years old. I had two aunts who opened up a dance studio, and my family stuck me in there, and that was the end of it. The beginning and the end.
What was the first show you were in, not counting grade school and high school?
Oh. The first show I was in outside was The Owl and the Pussycat.
Oh.
You know, the 2-character play, and Doris the prostitute. That was lots of fun. That was my first like semi-professional. I got paid, but it wasn't, an equity theater or any of that, but it was fun. As a matter of fact, the male role, he looked a lot like you, Larry.
Oh, thanks.
Wow.
Yeah, Felix. His name, Felix, is the character.
I didn't know you worked with George Clooney.
Really?
Oh yeah, we're good friends.
Oh, yeah. That's great. Did you have a mentor when you were younger?
I did. It was my grandmother.
Oh.
And my grandmother was a Ziegfeld Follies dancer. And if you don't know what that was, Google it, because at the time it was very prestigious, to be a Ziegfeld girl. And she was my mentor. She's the one that got me started. She said, either if acting or be an attorney. And so I chose acting.
You would have been a good attorney too, though. I know that.
Yeah. Most actors would.
True.
I mean, really, it's the same skill, right? No.
Yeah, well, kind of.
Oh my gosh, she must have great stories.
Well, it's really interesting. My grandmother, and I don't think it's a lie, her cousin was Tyrone Power, another oldie but goodie.
Oh yeah.
And I remember she said, "Oh, I had all these people in my life with, these people that, were somebody, and they're all dead because, it's who you know." And it's funny.
I love that.
Yeah. But
now, did she give you any great advice, or has anyone given you great acting advice along the way?
Yeah, well, she gave me really practical advice. And she said that, of course, you have to have the talent, the skill, and the willingness to learn. And so you study and you put the hard work into it, but you need to get to know people in the business. People need to see what you're doing. You have to see the people who are going to hire you. Right. And she would always say, it's who you know, and it's a business after all. And she was right, as we all know. So that was good practical advice.
Absolutely. I grew up in New York, and I love Woody Allen. And after a movie of his would come out, you'd find out that some actress that he found walking down the street of New York. And I was like, I was walking down the street of New York. Where was I?
That's funny you should mention that, because when I was studying in New York, I had the opportunity to audition for him. But the audition was very much like what you're saying, Kathleen. It was literally, he was sitting behind the desk, and there was an entourage of people just walking by him. That was the audition.
Wow.
Of course, I didn't get cast, but that's what he did.
Wow.
It's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
What happened at your worst audition?
Oh.
We all have them.
Yeah. My worst audition was when I showed up and I was told that the role that I was asked to audition for was already cast. And it was cast by the woman who was at the desk taking all the information from the actors. So, okay, fine. But they wanted me to audition anyway. So of course, I was really annoyed. I had a very bad attitude. And of course I blew the audition. It wasn't very good. And so, because I couldn't put it aside and, and look at it as an opportunity instead of a waste of my time, I'm sure, who knows what could have come out of it. But that was my worst audition. And it was because I lost my temper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you tell young actors about that experience if they go through that? What would you tell young actors?
Yeah, just look at everything as an opportunity. Okay, this show is cast. Okay, it's unfortunate that you found out when you arrived, but just go in there and blow it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to do other shows. So
right, and they'll remember you.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I wouldn't do it. Now, sometimes if I really wanted a role and I didn't get cast, and the next time the director had an audition, I wanted to do a monologue from the show they didn't cast me in. But it'd been too big of a gamble to say, now I know why I didn't cast you.
Oh,
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
But
funny.
I remember, Lenore, like that happened to me, not that it was precast, but I don't even know what show it was, but I wanted to be character X, and all they had me read for was Y. And I was upset about that, so I didn't do a good job. So I totally get what you said.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as adults now, we know that. I mean, this was when I was young and
Me too, yeah.
cocky.
Yeah. Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
What is your favorite show you've been in and why?
I had a favorite role. I have many favorite shows. There's for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved playing Susie in Wait Until Dark. For a number of reasons. Of course, because she was this strong woman. Yeah. And she, she overcame so many obstacles, and she, the obstacles that were handed to her by 3 criminals.
Yeah.
And I loved her spirit and her, her strength. But what was great about doing that role is that I had the opportunity to train for a full day with a blind woman. So I got to go into her home. We cooked together. We did some house cleaning, and we had tea together. So just observing her and learning from her. And then right after that, my director took me out for a day, and I was blindfolded, and I used the white cane all over town. We had lunch together, and the experience really informed my performance. And it was just really, it was great to have that opportunity. Rarely do you get to do that,
right.
So that was one of my favorite roles. But also another favorite show was Shirley Valentine.
Oh,
You know, one woman show, you know, that usually would, you know, at first would really, you know, petrify you, but I loved it because I love to act. I love to break the fourth wall. I don't know about how you feel about that, but I love that. Because the audience is another character, you know, well, they are anyway, but that's even more so when you can actually look at them and, you know, bring them in a little bit more tightly. Yeah.
That
So-
was an amazing show. I remember I was just, my mouth was open the whole time because I was like, there's nobody there to help you. You're by yourself and you're 5 feet away from me. Like, oh my gosh, it was incredible. Incredible.
If you do mess up,
Mhm.
you know, there's no one but you.
right.
And because it's a series of monologues, as
yeah.
long as you remember what you said before, you can go back.
True.
You know, because she is really portraying people in her life. She's, you know, talking to the audience about them.
Right.
So if she forgets to talk about her girlfriend and she goes into talking about her son, she could always flip back in there.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like separate scenes, those monologues, you know? And that's what, yeah, that's what I loved about it. There's some flexibility there, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And
You don't
where
want
did
to,
you,
oh,
where
sorry.
did you do Wait Until Dark? Where was that?
That was in Syracuse before I moved here. So it was before 95.
Right.
Yeah, because Susie is younger, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I've done that show twice. And, you know,
Oh, I'm not surprised. What did you play? Who did you play? I mean,
I'm sorry, the bad guy. I can't think of his character. No.
Rote?
Rote.
You were
Harry
great.
Rote. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those are great, you know, great character roles.
They are. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. But,
That's great.
yeah, so what are some of your favorite roles?
When Kathleen asked me, I said, well, it's like picking your favorite child, you know.
Mm.
And for me, the roles were what it meant to my, I hate to say career at the time. There was an achievement or a step up in my acting ability, I felt at the time. When I was really young, I did Bus Stop. I was 26. And I remember distinctively, I went off stage in my final scene. And when I went off stage, I saw my shadow backstage. And I said, oh, I'm finished.
Mm.
I mean, I was so much in the moment. Larry was not exiting the stage. I just realized, oh yeah, I'm still in the moment until I got off stage.
Yeah, that's great.
It is
It's scary and it's great.
I know.
Well, you know, I have to mention the play that Kathleen and I were in when we first met, and we have been friends since. It's so wonderful. See, this is one of the wonderful perks of our business, really.
Yes.
But the dining room was awesome.
Right.
I mean, each one of us played about 8 roles. I mean, what's better than that, right?
Oh, I know.
It was such a terrific play and performance with, you know, 6 actors and I don't know how many, you know.
11 or 12.
8 times 6. Yeah,
I think I saw our production when Kathleen directed it, but you know, every play I wanted to have that moment where you're just lost in the moment, right? And Kathleen knows what I'm talking about. There's a moment where it's the son and the father at the end of the dining room, and he just mentioned something very slightly about he didn't know if I loved him or not. And I just remember just getting caught in the moment as a character saying, my God, my dad, I've never told my dad how I love him, right?
Yeah.
And it's those moments that we just want, that we just live for it. And we know if we hit it just right, the audience just feels the moment, you know. You don't have to push it. You're just in the moment.
Right.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah, Kathleen, you directed it. Larry, you were in it, and it was just awesome. It's such a great vehicle for director and actors.
It is.
It's a wonderful piece.
What type of actor did you love to be on stage with?
Yeah. Well, I love to be with actors that are team players. You know, it's a team sport. And I like to be with the actors who care about the entire production, not just their roles. Actors who are respectful and see and share the joys of performing together, and actors who are there to catch you if you fall, and actors who aren't afraid to be open to possibilities that happen. And, you know, I'm that actor for them as well.
Mhm.
I mean, for me, it's always been a sport. I feel like I'm an athlete, you know, and it is a team, and we're there to win.
Absolutely. And Lenore, you know my kids, and my son played hockey like his whole life. And of course, what he didn't want to hear all the time was me saying how much hockey and acting were alike. He didn't like that at all. But it was true, because nobody wants the guy that hogs the puck the whole time. It's a team sport. Let's play together. We're an ensemble. And I was trying to compare them all the time. And my husband would say, stop, leave him alone. He's a hockey player, you know.
Well, it's because of my years of
It's
experience, I started appreciating sports more, because it doesn't matter how prepared and how trained you are. Every night, every sporting event, every performance, it's a new experience, and anything can go wrong, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's why people love sports. And I guess maybe that's why people like theater, because,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I
you know,
mean,
the scene in The Herd, I don't know if you were on stage, but the coat rack fell the night I saw it.
oh, yeah.
And you, I think you were in that scene. You guys just pulled it right off, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that was that coat rack. That was a real problem. No, we finally stabilized it, but yeah, it's always fun.
I did Race a Raft with Susanna, and she was doing the scene. Thomas Mooney did the set, and there was a pole, and it started to fall during the scene, and Susanna just grabbed it and just did the whole scene.
Well, you know, Larry, that reminds me, Raleigh Little Theater a very long time ago did Once Upon a Mattress.
Right.
And Brent Wilson and Mary Catherine Walston were singing a beautiful, beautiful song together. And it was opening night, and, you know, Mary Catherine had one of those hats that went like to the point, you know, those princess kind of hats. And it was opening night, and it kept falling off her head as she was singing, and she kept like trying to grab it. And finally, Brent just held it in place so the woman could do her magic and sing. And it was such a beautiful moment. It brought tears to my eyes, because I thought, here's a true actor who knows there's a problem. I'm just going to handle it. Go, right. You know, and it was beautiful. Really.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's on my list who I want to work with.
Yes, he's great. He's really great.
Funny. Well, you know, that brings me to mind about something that happened to me. You know, one of the best moments or the worst moments. You know, I know that was something that we were going to talk about. I might as well.
My next question. So.
Oh, great. Yeah, and that just reminds me, and of course, it's a similar story. But I was in Hello, Dolly, and I played Minnie Fay. And right before the young leading lady, not Dolly, but Irene, and she has this beautiful solo, Ribbons Down My Back. It's gorgeous. And so I'm upstage, and she begins singing, and, you know, I'm not the focus of the scene. And while she's singing the song, the set behind me started to fall down. And so I'm trying to be as inconspicuous as I can. And I just, you know, stepped back a little bit and held up the scenery until her song and the scene were over. And so, you know, little Minnie Fay saved the day, you know. But
there you go.
I mean, what timing, this gorgeous.
Right.
But it was one of the highlights of my community theater experience, you know? I mean, It could happen anytime, though, you know, anything like that, not just, you know.
I was doing Star Spangled Girl years ago, and my character gets handcuffed to the radiator, and at the end of the scene, I'm supposed to be unhandcuffed, but we couldn't get it unlocked. and I was panicking. The audience started throwing out hints how to get me unlocked, but eventually we figured it out. But
Yeah, it's great. But it's great. It's great training.
Mhm.
You
It is
know?
great training. It
You know?
definitely is.
It's
What's
fun.
the funniest thing that ever happened to you on stage? Like that went wrong and happened to you?
Oh yeah, that was actually, you know, funny. But I don't know. You know, I cannot think of. I guess that was my funny moment. You know,
Holding up the stage.
yeah, holding up the set. I have to say that is probably the funniest. I can't think, you know, there's been so many funny moments.
right.
Maybe not, I wasn't the, you know, the person that was the recipient of that, but, you know.
Well, you just reminded me when you spoke about the dining room. There was when we did it at RLT. I played the mom at a birthday party, so everybody else played children, and I was the mom. And luckily, it was dress rehearsal. But I was kind of flirting with the father of another kid. And there was a scene where I was supposed to grab him by the tie, and it was Mick Cover. And I was supposed to grab him and pull him toward me. And the costume designer had given him a clip-on. So I pulled the tie and it just came off in my hand. And thank God it was just not opening night, but a dress rehearsal. But
That's fun.
but, oh my God, that's why, as Haskell said, that's why we had these little meetings.
That's
So we
right.
get that over with. Yeah.
It's funny. That was the birthday party. Yeah, I can't remember, but I played a 5-year-old, so I was
Yes.
probably doing something evil at the time.
Of course.
And Chris Brown playing a 5-year-old was hilarious.
Yeah, Chris Brown in our production played a 5-year-old. It was very funny.
I love that. I love that.
I did too.
Yeah, playing a
If you
child.
couldn't be an actor, what else would you want to do in the theater profession?
Oh, a costume designer.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I love playing around at home, you know, with fabric and making things. I would never wear them on stage because we have such great costume designers in the Triangle, but I think I would have loved to have done that if I didn't. Yeah.
It's one of the biggest differences between really small community theater and professional theater. Because my wife will see me, I'll do a small community theater and she'll say, I can't believe they put you in those clothes. The 4 sizes too big. Just let me costume you. You have to go to the better companies. Your costumes are great, but you know.
But you know, like Raleigh Little Theater, the costumes are fantastic.
Right.
But it's one of the best community theaters in the country,
Right.
FYI. You know, so that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, when I was growing up and just starting out, community theaters I worked in, like I said, with the sets falling down and costumes falling off, but you know,
Well,
it's great fun.
Wait Until Dark, the first time I did it was in North Raleigh in 2002. And the guy who played the husband leaves the scene and he has to give his hat, fedora, to the next guy who's playing that bad guy because we didn't have enough hats.
Wow.
I love it.
Wow. That's something.
If you could go back in time and talk to the younger version of yourself when you first started acting, what advice would you tell yourself?
Well, you know, always observe people and all creatures in the way they move. You know, dream. Don't be timid.
Right.
Don't make excuses. And don't let yourself, don't pigeonhole yourself in anything. Just really, you know, just experiment.
Right.
And don't stress out as to the way you look. You know, don't get obsessed about this or, you know, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't look good. You know, all of that is such bull. You know, just don't stress about that. And never lose sight on why you wanted to be a performer.
Right.
and always be looking at ways to get better, you know, continue to train. You know, I'm constantly reading books. I go back to some of my acting training books. I constantly read Tips by John Jury. Before I do any performance, I read that book, you know, which is great because it's a one-pager on all sorts of topics and things, and just dig deep, and never lose your playfulness.
Right.
You know, and laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously. That's what I do say to my older self.
Have you noticed that when I'm working on a part and I'm struggling with it, I'll be watching a TV show, and like almost anything I can watch on TV, I relate to my character and their plight. It's like, oh yeah, that kind of reminds me of what my character is going through. So I guess the whole time I'm watching television, it's passive, but my mind is still working and thinking about the role.
How can I use that? Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. No, you know, some of the things that I'm hoping that I get to do in the near future, if, you know, we can be on stage again, some interesting projects. I mean, I'm thinking that's what keeps me going. Some of that may happen in the near future, some of those roles or things I just want to do, you know.
My goal is that, okay, I'm going to be the Jordan Smith when I get in my 60s and 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Not quite happening yet, but I'm saying, okay, if I can just have what the roles that Jordan Smith had, you know, when he got older.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is there a role you wanted to play ever?
Yeah. I would like to, when I was young, you know, studying, I got to play Amanda in The Glass Menagerie. I would really love to play Amanda in The Glass Menagerie now as an adult.
Yeah.
It almost happened a few times and it didn't. The show didn't get produced, but that's what I would love to do.
I saw Sally Field do it 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Sally Field.
Sally Field.
Oh, right. Yeah, and I knew the young woman who was the understudy for Laura, and that
Oh, really?
she got to go on. She was a UNC PhD student, Carrie.
Wow.
And I remember when I met Carrie as a student at Playmakers Drama Department of Joan Gilling's Department of Drama, and I said, "Oh, you would be great as Laura." And lo and behold, and I didn't get to see her, but I know she was probably awesome.
Yeah.
But I just love Tennessee Williams. Anything Tennessee Williams. It's just, yeah.
What's the first thing you want to do when the quarantine's off and we all can go back out again?
I want to hug you. I want to hug you. I want to hug my friends and my family again. And I want to perform live on stage, probably more than I've ever wanted to.
Yeah, me too. Because
this is crazy.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to see what happens, and hopefully we can again soon.
I can't imagine mounting a show and saying, okay, you're going to sit in chair 4. Now, sir, you're going to sit in chair 10. The whole time I'd be like, okay, I'm going to be thinking about the virus, not about what I'm seeing on stage.
Right.
Yeah. But not only that, if that happens, how are we going to afford to pay for the rights of the show? Or, you know, I mean, it's just, yeah. But I'm sure someone will come up with incredibly creative ideas on how to do that. Or whatever. I don't know. I'm sure there's lots of conversations. I have my own ideas, but I don't have my own theater, so.
I'm old-fashioned, and I appreciate people going online performing, but it's not the same as a live experience. It's someone just said you're breathing the same air as the actors, and that's what it's all about. You know, it's a shared experience, and you sort of lose that watching it online.
Yeah, and they're, you know, they're the other character.
Right.
You
and
know,
it's fletching, if that's not the right word, but it's like, if I come see you on stage, it's the only time I'm going to see you do that performance. I mean, that one performance, that's it. It's not documented. it's gone forever, and I just have to live with the memory of seeing you in those moments and so forth.
Yeah. And what's amazing for me to be on stage is the audience's energy.
Right.
I mean, that's why we do it. I know I'm, speaking to the choir here, but that whole energy thing in the room,
Right.
sharing that story that the playwright has written, and all the unexpected moments. It's
right, and feeding off each other.
Yeah.
Larry, you said one of your favorite moments was feeling the audience with you when
Right.
you were in.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's addictive. When we did our show, I was supposed to be pretty much of a hard ass, but I really wanted to be sympathetic towards your character, but I wasn't supposed to be, right? And I had a couple moments where your character touched me, but and the Larry me wanted to give into that and feel the moment. And I said, no,
Right.
I can't.
Right.
I gotta be a jerk.
Yeah, I have to
Be true.
respect what the playwright has written.
Right.
Exactly.
That's as long as we remember that.
Right.
Mhm.
I know.
Yeah. We will get out there again. I have faith.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
It will happen.
Memory of Water too. You would be great in that role too.
Let me write that down.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming and joining us and sharing your stories and your theater life.
Oh, thank you.
It's been
Thank you
great.
so much. I
always
appreciate it.
It's always great to see you.
Great
And
to see you too.
Thanks for letting us indulge in our own little stories as well too.
Oh yeah, I love it. Of
I
course.
know.
It's a shared experience.
Very much and stuff.
I look forward to seeing you in person and giving you that hug.
Yeah, me too.
I know. Thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
very
Take
much.
care. Have a great night.
You too. You too.
Bye.